Good evening, YouTube. Hardball Crazy come back to video. This will be a little of a fun video. The last Sunday night, the Forest Collectors channel, the four gentlemen on there, showed their favorite cars from each decade from the 1880s to 1970s. And I saw a couple of other YouTubers kind of do the same. I did watch Peter B's, and it was enjoyable, so I thought I'll do my own. So I'm going to do a little twist, though, because I like it to be a little different. I'm going to double your pleasure here. I'm going to show you a random card from each of the decades. Well, one of my favorite cards. And not necessarily my best card, just a more different card. You've seen the same old cards over and over again, so I'm going to maybe do a little bit more obscure cards. My favorite out of the ordinary cards. Some of you've seen before, but I'm going to show you my favorite card from that era, that decade. Then I'm going to show you my favorite Tigers card from that decade. So I'm showing two cards from each decade when applicable. I only have one card from the 19th century, and it's the 1887 Allen Ginter of Charles Bennett. We all know that Buck Ewing is the Hall of Fame as a catcher from the 19th century, but Buck Ewing only played a little less than half his career games at catcher. This gentleman here played like over 90% of his games at catcher. He was one of the best defensive catchers around, playing 90% of the games at catcher. He also was a pretty good hitter too, and he won a World Series, so the championship we want to call it, back in 1887, the Detroit Wolverines. And if you want to learn more about him, he might be the best full-time catcher in the 19th century. And I believe, and many others believe, he actually should be in the Hall of Fame. He passed away like 10 years prior to the Hall of Fame, so I think he started getting forgotten about. Read somewhere that if Hall of Fame started like 20 years prior, he'd probably been already. But if you want to learn more about Charles Bennett, I would recommend it. And also the Tigers' first stadium on Michigan Trumbull, where Tiger Stadium was later built, was named Bennett Park, named after him. Okay, on to the 1900 to 1909. Who should I give first? The regular? I do the first regular cards first, non-Tigers. Back in like 2018 or so, I didn't really grab into pre-war. Most of my pre-war cards are from the last, 5-6 years. I always thought it was like, they're too expensive. I way out of my price range, but they actually are. They're a lot more pretty affordable. But in 2018 or so, a buddy of mine went to Detroit Institute of Arts. They had a display, a traveling showcase display, summer type deal of the costumes of Star Wars movies. So you actually see the original costumes of, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca, Princess Leia, all the way into the prequels, episodes 1 and 3. This is prior to the later movies. And so I was like, let's make a road trip down to Detroit and see him. Then I mentioned that to my brother before I actually went down there. So you go see the T206 display too? I was like, what? Yeah, there's a guy who had the complete T206 set, and he had it on display. They had it on display on a wall. So you look at a big old blank wall, and it's all the complete set. And they're all PSA 4 through 5 or so. And yes, he did have the Hannes Wagner, which was on the other side of the room in a case. It was like a PSA 1, I think, maybe an authentic. But that was back behind its own huge case. Think of you could imagine. So soon after that, I started picking up my first T206s. And this is probably my big boy T206. My only three-finger brown is this right here. This is one of the harder variations of the T206. The P-back. Mordecai has got 3 different type of variations with the uniforms and such. But this is one of my big boys. Probably my biggest card of the set. I only have 6 or so cards from the monster. But this is my 1900 to 1909. As for the Tiger, they had a cool regional set, 1907 through 1909. Did the Cubs too from the 1907 World Series. It's dice postcards, and the dice was like a bus company, I think. They had postcards. I just love this image. Yeehaw! The Huey Jennings. This is just a gorgeous black and white postcard. I just love this image of Huey Jennings here. Really cool. Those are my favorite cards in my collection. I just love this beautiful black and white. As for the 1910s, these cards aren't shown too often. It's a 1914 T222 Fatima tobacco card. You know those as the team cards. They also did some player cards in 1914. This is a Wally Shang, all-star level catcher. He was probably the best catchers in the American League for a while. He won a World Series with the A's, the Red Sox, and the Yankees. The first Yankees World Series champion in '23. Wally Shang was a star player. I'm still looking for his W514 card of Shang as a Red Sox. I got a card as the A's and the Yankee. I want to get a card of each team he played for. He actually, towards his career, he actually played for the Tigers too. He's in one of those like Exhibit 4 and 1s. But this is a cool Wally Shang. I think this is near his rookie year card. He's in the 1914 Cracker Jack. Speaking of Cracker Jack, my Tiger Cracker Jack, I'm doing a double Huey here. You told me about 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I never owned a Cracker Jack card. Well, guess what? I own 3 now. This is courtesy of B. Roth, our friend Brian, B. Roth 6. And this is my Huey Jennings Cracker Jack. This is the 1914 version. It's a 1. Bought from him raw, and then he sent it to SGC, so I waited a little longer. And I was hoping to get at least a numerical grade on it. I don't mind the little all the stains because that's how they came out. The 1914 Cracker Jacks. Love the Cracker Jacks. They're my favorite pre-war sets of all. On to the 1920s. I call this one my Prohibition card. 1928 Yinglings, a red Faber, one of the Clean Sox. He missed the 1919 World Series because he had part of the flu breakout, and he was too sick to participate in the World Series. So if he actually didn't catch the flu, he might have participated in the World Series, and the Black Sox scandal might never have happened because they wouldn't have relied on Eddie Seacott and Lefty Williams in the rotation, and Red Faber would have probably done his part. Why do I call it a Prohibition card? Because this is a 1928 Yinglings. Yinglings, if you didn't know, is the longest tenured, oldest brewery in the U.S., based in Pennsylvania. And during the 1920s, obviously they couldn't sell beer, so instead they made ice cream. And part of the promotion in 1928 with the ice cream is baseball cards and giving away gloves and Babe Ruths and photos and gallons of ice cream. So I call this my Prohibition card because if Prohibition never happened, this card would never have happened probably. 1920s, Yinglings of Hall of Famer Red Faber. My 1920s Tigers card is of Harry Heilman. 1922 Nielsen's Chocolate, Canadian chocolate company. This is a Type 2. Type 2, you could tell by the different font in the back. Type 1 has more of a calligraphy type, fancier script. And Type 1 also has like a card number down here in the corner, and Type 2 does not. Harry Heilman, Tiger Hall of Famer, underappreciated great players. In the 30s, I got one of my favorite cards from the 30s, my 1933 Mo Berg. You know all the story about him. Picked this up before the pandemic, and I'm glad I did, because I think his cards have gone up since. Mo Berg, I consider him and Jackie Robinson the two most important people in baseball players in American history. The 30s, Tiger, I'm going to go with Charlie Gehringer, 39 play ball. Lack of just a better one, and just the fact that I was there in a game, in Tiger game in Cleveland against the Indians in '83. I still have the poster giveaway from that game hanging on my wall. Scheduled doubleheader back in the Sunday scheduled doubleheaders in between games. I was there when they retired Gehringer's number. 40s. I like to call this underappreciated cards. I don't have many. I only have 2 cards from the set. 1941 double play. This is like 2 cards in one. Like the Magic of Bird rookie cards. This is the, according to Beckett's, it's these XRCs of both of these Hall of Famers. Of Johnny Mize and Enos Slaughter. Mize, I believe, has a couple cards from the late 30s. Pastels and things, but I don't know. What do you want to call his rookie card? He gets muddy, murky, and questionable, like the Wild Wild West of rookie cards when you get into pre-war. So that's a little bit of a different one. 1940s Tigers. I said Gehringer. Well, got to go with Greenberg. I was there when they retired Gehringer's number. Well, they retired Greenberg's number at the same time. So I was there when they retired Gehringer and Greenberg's number. And a couple other things. He was like the first Jewish superstar in baseball. If you've ever seen the DVD, The Life and Times of Hank Greenberg, I highly recommend it. You appreciate Hank Greenberg even more. Even more the reason I have a connection to Hank Greenberg, he and I share the same birthday. I love it. 50s, I mentioned Mo Berg, so I have to show my only Jackie Robinson, 54. So my favorite sets in the 50s is 54. I just love the dual image, the color, the cartoon backs, the gray green. I just love this is my favorite set in the 50s. Everybody else loves the ones. I tend to go against the grain a lot of times, but this is my favorite. This is my only Jackie, and I have to show it off when I can show it off. 50s Tiger, Harvey Keene, Tiger All-Star, the 50s. This is a very hard regional. 1953 Glendale Meets. Came out a year before his rookie card in 53. I just totally love this image. You got a great deal on this card. These were tough to get at the time. This is just an awesome 50s regional food issue card. I just love it, love it, love it. 60s. I'm going a little bit of a player you might not have heard of. Maybe you heard of, just kind of passed on by through the commons bit, but he was an all-star, one of the greatest defensive first basemen ever. Name was Vic Power. This card is autographed, and it's part of the Uncle Jimmy collection. From Puerto Rico. And Vic Power is a great player. I think you should learn more about him. My only card from the Uncle Jimmy collection. He was a longtime collector of autographs and such. When passed away, his cards were auctioned off. I wanted at least one card from his collection, and I picked up this Vic Power. So I'm a Vic Power fan. 60s Tiger is my Mickey Lolich rookie, but not just regular Topps Mickey Lolich. I found this on eBay. I thought it was a great deal. I don't know how this is a 2, especially when the Topps Venezuelan is such a great shape, but PSA gave it a 2. This is probably one of the most amazing 2s you ever see, and especially don't being a Venezuelan Topps, where their cards are usually pretty beat up. Got the black backs. Mickey Lolich, 68 Tiger World Series MVP, and if you didn't know, he retired as the all-time strikeout leader, left-handed pitchers in baseball history, surpassed several times over. And the 70s. This is one of my favorite cards I have in my collection. 74 Topps. You all know about the Washington National Padres variations, right? Padres were rumored to move to Washington, and Topps went in and presumed that, so they made Washington National cards. But at the very last second, Ray Kroc of McDonald's conglomerate He was an owner. It wasn't. I don't think he was a founder of McDonald's, but he was the magnate of McDonald's at the time, and bought it the last second and kept him in San Diego. And if you remember the mid 80s, he had RAK on the Padres jerseys. That's because of Ray Kroc when he passed away, got his initials on there. That's what RAK was. You see some Tony Gwynn's and Steve Garvey cards with RAK. Well, the 74 Topps 74 Dave Winfield rookie year card, is a McDonald's Padres regional card, PSA 9, in this terrible PSA holder they do. So this historical non-move, I guess, is kind of commemorated in the 74 Padres McDonald's set. Coincidence? I don't think so. And Dave Winfield rookie year card from 74. One of my favorite cards in my collection because I love the history behind of it all. And I'll finish with my 78s. Okay, go 70s Tigers. Well, these two, it's a 2-for-1 because they are 2-for-1. One's in the Hall of Fame, one will be. I know he will be at some point. It's the 78 Burger King, Whitaker, and Trammell rookie year cards. Jack Morris is in the set too. 3 Hall of Famers. I'm going to call Whitaker Hall of Famer. He's going to be there. And as a Tiger fan of the era, there was a 4th Tiger in the multi rookie cards, prospect cards at Topps, who was a perennial all-star, but he was not in the set. Us Tiger fans of this era was always kind of disappointed, at least my brother and I were. Lance Parrish should be in this set. He'd been all 4 Tiger future star rookie cards in the set, but he was in the set. Lance Parrish is perhaps probably the best American League catcher in the early to mid-80s. World Series champ, all-star starter multiple years, Gold Glover, Silver Slugger. He was top-notch, but his career kind of faded, being a catcher and all. The big wheel, cleanup hitter of the 84 Tigers. But Whitaker, Trammell, I can't really post, hey, this is one without having the other. They go together. Peanut butter and jelly, Whitaker and Trammell. Thank you for watching. There's my favorite cards from each decade, or at least a couple of my favorite cards from each decade, from the 1900s, all vintage. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.